Right. So to start off, right, I'm going to start with this diagram right here. So this right here is you, right? And obviously you're a businessman, right? That's why you're in the call. So I'm going to give you this top hat to represent. So this is you, right? And then what we have on the other side is the world, right? So I'll draw this really quickly, right? Just a few people. Right, make this box. So right here we have the world. Now, of course, we're not selling to the whole world, right? There's no niche broad enough to do that. So how I'm going to do this, right? I forgot to explain a few things, right? So first off, I know you're all wondering probably about my credibility, right? I'm coming in here to practice my speaking, right? I want to be a better speaker, and the best way to do that is obviously talking to an audience. And I have two businesses, right? So let me just. Right, so I have two businesses, copywriting and, well, the content creation. But you can consider that as just one business. And I am at the stage now where I have two clients, but I'm not fully established in the case of making money, right? But this is something, what I'm teaching you is basics that have been tried over and over. A lot of it is secondary research and things I've come up with myself as well. And overall, right, give me a second. Right, yeah, okay. So I'm going to be talking about the first three paint things here. I'm going to be talking about the 101s of basic business. But what I was about to say is later on, I'm going to be explaining something that could be applied to anything, any goal, right? You can implement this. It can be implemented at any stage if you're just starting, right? That's what I'm doing, and I know how to start now. And it's only been 4 months, and I've already got two clients confirmed. One works for the NHS, right? It's in partnership, and the other is quite a popular place called T Sauna in Wales, right? So that's my credibility out of the way, right? So let's start off with the business. What is a business, right? So a business, I'm gonna say this in real terms. Business. This is a mutually beneficial exchange. Now, to explain this, I'm going to create a little table like this, right? I think this is big enough. So here we have the market, right? This is the first thing I'm going to explain. Market. So what you need to know is people have pains and desires, right? Pains and desires, right? So I'll give an example here. So e.g., let's say we have a person here, but they're a little overweight, right? So that's their pain because, yeah, of course, I'm going to say you can be happy being overweight. That isn't a problem. Well, it can be sort of, depending on how you look at it. But this person right here, they don't want to be overweight. So that's their pain, right? So overweight. I'll just do over W, right? And their desire, right? They can have a pain and a desire. Their desire is be jacked, right? So all of this, right, these all stem from your beliefs. I'll explain this a lot more later on, right? These all stem from your beliefs, right? So, e.g., a belief would be, I love food, or I can't stop myself from eating, or just I'm overweight in general, like I have that lifestyle, right? These all root from your beliefs and generally your lifestyle, right? So this is the reason why these people are similar. They're very similar people. They are similar. So now we have right here, so let's say these people all have the problem of being overweight. I should be careful with my wording here, but these people are all overweight and they don't want to be overweight. So that's their pain, right? So that's their market, our market. Right? And these are what we're selling to. So this is where we're going to get our mutually beneficial exchange. So this is you, once again. You. Right? Now, obviously, right, it's not just you. Over here, we have competition. Comp. I'm going to give them a less majestic hat, right? We care about you, right? So, what do we want to do, right? So, of course, when you're selling something, you need a product, right? And that product comes from the market, right? You need to understand the market to have a product, right? Or when you're trying to sell a product that you already have, you need to understand which market that product represents so you can sell it in the correct way. So this is product, right? So what you need to do with the product is create value. Let me just accept that person in. Nathan Shinky. Welcome, Nathan. Right. So create value, right? And how do you create value? So we know that we have pains plus desires, right? And you can play on both, right? You can have both or just have one or the other, but we can just put these together into solve a problem, right? You've probably heard this before. Don't worry, I'm going to get really in depth with this. Solve a problem. Right, so how do you solve a problem, right? So that's where we look at this man right here. Right, so we have the market, right? And let's say we want to create a product to prevent this guy from being overweight. I'll explain this a lot more later with another diagram, right? But what we will take is their pain and desire, and we will solve that problem, obviously, right? I'll show that in the next slide, in the next part. But what I want to drill in now is how you want to think about actually entering the market and gaining their attention in a way, right? So right here, we have a barrier, right? This I call the attention barrier or the knowledge barrier, right? And we have you right here. You. Right, I'm gonna draw these really quickly, right? I'll just do like little sticks for your competition, right? Comp. And then down here you have your market. So, you know when they say you're penetrating the market, right? Right, so you have your market here. I'm not gonna draw them special. Right, so we have the market over here. Right, and you're going to be penetrating this attention barrier. That's when they say penetrating the market, right? And your goal is to do that as many times as possible with as persuasively as possible, right? So some of these, right, you'll send out ads and it won't break through the barrier because it won't target the right people, right? You need to target the right people that represent that market for the problem that you're trying to solve. Otherwise, you're just not going to sell, right? And obviously, your competition is going to be doing that too. So what you need to do is send more than the competition and be more persuasive than the competition, right? So I'm going to create a new file. Don't save, right? So what I want to explain now, right? So this is how you're actually going to start understanding how to start a business. So we have three things. We have the business model. I touched upon this previously in a previous call. Business model. This is the same analogy I used as well. So the business model, that is your vehicle. Draw a little car. This is a terrible car, right? Here we have our business model right here, right? That's our vehicle, right? And then we have you. And I keep touching upon you, right? I keep mentioning you because that's actually the most important, right? I had a conversation with Daniel in the last call, and he said that the vehicle is the most important, right? And it is by necessity. You need a vehicle, right? But what your focus is on you, right? This is what you want to develop most in order to become successful, right? And that's what I'm currently working on, of course, with my business, and I'll explain how to do that soon. So this right here, I'm gonna draw, this is the road to success, right? Road to success. And this is how I'm going to explain product placement and how you're going to move forward. So this right here is your current state. And this also represents your market's current state. So this represents pretty much everything, right? So current state. And this is your dream state. So this is where you want to be, or where your market wants to be, right? Now, we have a third thing here, right? So I'm going to draw the vehicle right here. It's terrible, I know. This is not a good vehicle, but you get the point, right? We can't just have the vehicle, right? Oh, we have the driver as well. Because there's one more thing that we need, and that is fuel. Fuel for the vehicle. And this comes in the form of time and energy, right? So something you need to understand when it comes to business is how do you achieve higher time and energy? Because this is what's going to keep your car going so you can achieve your dream state, right? And that you have to look at your life, right? So what's within your life? So say now you look at social media, you're on self-improvement, which is taking time. You're looking at TikTok, I guess that comes over social media. Family, food, right? So all of these take away your time and energy. So let's imagine this as a stat. So you have, say, say you start off with 100 time 100 energy just as a baseline, right? Or this is where you are right now, right? What you can do is sacrifice. This is a huge part of business, sacrifice. So you need to pick what you want to sacrifice. So I'd say sacrifice social media. This is my first example, right? When you do this, you're removing that from your life. And what that's doing, right? Say now this was 5 energy and 10 time, right? What you're doing, you're gaining plus 5 energy plus 10 time. So you can then put that into your business. Self-improvement, right? I believe that business is a vessel for self-improvement. So once you have a goal that encapsulates your self-improvement needs, right, you can achieve this just with self-improvement. So you don't need to work in the name of self-improvement because you'll just naturally improve. So you'll get some time off that, right? Removing all the things that aren't necessary for your specific goal. TikTok, obviously remove, right? You'll get, say, plus 10 E plus 10 time, right? Family. Now, this is where you're choosing, right? These are essential, right? You need to keep them because they are healthy parts of your life, right? So you're not going to remove these because if you remove these, it will actually take away your time and energy, right? It's ironic that you're spending it on them, but you're actually going to lose, right? So you're going to want to keep things like this. So you need to know what you're willing to sacrifice. If you have bad friends, for example, right? This is still social. Bad friends. Then removing these will add, right? But if you remove social altogether, right? Family altogether, that's going to take away from your time and energy. You're going to lose fuel, right? So that's to do with you. Now, let's talk about the product. So this is how we place the product. So the product is not the dream state, right? Not product. The product, what it really is something to solve a roadblock. So we have things called roadblocks, right, on the road that stop your car from moving, right? So you can't reach your dream state. Right, so let's say using the overweight example that I mentioned earlier, right? Their problem is they eat too much food, right? Eat too much. And they can't get over that mental barrier, right? The product then will be something like, say, a sugar-free drink, right? Obviously, right, I don't think that will be a very good product if it has sweeteners or whatever, right? So I don't think that will be a very good bridge. But just for the example, you understand, right? So now you have a bridge, and this bridge right here, so I'll label this roadblock if you want to take a screenshot. Bridge. Which is the solution. So that's how you want to think about your product. It's not the dream state itself, right? That comes from your market itself. Where you want your product is on the bridge, right? The solution to a roadblock which prevents them to getting to their dream state, right? So, right, we've gone over fuel and product placement, right? I'm going to create a new thing here. Right, don't save. So there are 3 things that I know. I'm not going to go really in depth into these, but there are 3 things to a business. Getting attention, the product, and monetizing attention. right? So let me just do this. Right, so getting attention, you can do this a few ways. Usually this is just through adverts, right? So there's organic, where you make free ads. So you're posting on, say, TikTok, like just social medias, trying to advertise your product. This is why content creation is so powerful, because that leads you to getting a ton of attention, which is what you can use to then monetize, right? I've already explained the product, but I do want to add something to it. So there's this thing, right? You want to create value, obviously. There's this thing called the value equation, right? So the value equation is dream outcome. So this is what they want, times likelihood of success. Right, so the likelihood of success, that will be how likely the product is to solving their problem, right? So if they believe that the product is more likely to solve the problem, then they're more likely to buy. It's more valuable to them, right? And this is all divided by sacrifice. So what will they have to sacrifice in buying this product? This will be like price, but this can also be time. How much time will they have to sacrifice in order to get what they want, right? Times time delay. So how long will it take them to get the result? Time delay. So how you want to think, you want to increase their dream outcome, right? Make their dream, like, amplify it, so show that their dream is absolutely brilliant, it's some god-sent dream, they really want it, and it's really likely that they're going to get it if they get your product, right? And you want to minimize their thought of, okay, there's a lot of sacrifice involved, and you want to minimize how much time delay that is, like quicker shipping so they get the product quicker. Other things like, say, this will work within 30 days instead of a year, right? Being specific is also a really good way to build trust, right? That's something I use within copywriting. But yeah, that's just some random side tangent, right? So monetizing attention, right? This can be done usually through funnels, right? So you've gotten the attention, and now you want to bring that attention over to your product. And what you do is do that through funnels. Now, I'm not going to fully explain this, but now you know that funnels is what you want to look into, right? And through this funnel, you want to persuade. So it's all to do with persuasion at this stage. And eventually, right, this will lead to a call to action, CTA, where they actually buy the product or they give you an email, like a lead. Right. I'm going to ask a question in a second. Let me just create a new. Right. I have a question for you. This is where I go more into the psychological things that can be used in any part of life, not just business. But this is what you really want to think about when you're doing business as well. Because as I said earlier, you are 80% of the business, right? That's what you're focusing on. Yes, the vehicle is essential. You need a business model. If you're walking, that's like getting a 9 to 5. But with that, it's easy to know what business model you want. Like, you could just choose any SSMA, SMMA, copywriting, content creation. Someone's gotten successful in all of them, so they all work, right? You just need to be the person that can make it work. So the question here is, who are you? I'm wondering if any of you know, like if any of you were in the last call, I did mention the answer to this. Who are you? Right? So Can anyone give me an answer? Who do you think you are?
Like a mix of skills, no?
That is 1/3 of the answer. You're on the right track.
Personality.
Personality? That is another word for another answer within it. So there's 3 answers I'm looking for here. Right, does anyone else have any ideas? Friends?
I wanted to say connections just now, yeah.
Connections. I disagree. That doesn't make you who you are, right? Like, you have other people. They're their own person, right? Whatever they become, that's not who you are. It can affect who you are, but it's not an ally for the client. Ooh. Right. I'm going to answer the question now, right? Does anyone else have any last ideas? Right, so we have... Okay. So what you are is a collection of something, right? We're not going to be one thing. That's impossible. Collection of skills, as you just said. So this was correct. Personality, you mentioned. I'd say characteristics, which is a very similar thing. Characteristics. They are different though, because personality, you have all the personality types in psychology. Characteristics is something a little different, so I'll explain that in a second. And the final one, right, I'm going to make this bullet point very big because this is the most important. Beliefs. So I'm going to be explaining all 3 of these. So, first off, what is a skill? A skill is something you're good at. Right? A skill is something you're good at, like something you're really good at, right? So let's say, so the skills depends on the model you choose. So for example, if you choose to be a marketing agency, right, you're going to need to know how to do cold calls, market, employ people, all of the sorts, right? So it's going to depend on your vehicle, as I mentioned before, right? So it's going to be different. So you're going to have to figure out, based on the business model that you're trying to decide, or your goal, what skills do you need to develop to achieve that? Your characteristics, these are like patience, right? These are some examples. Patience, kindness, discipline, right? And this is the same thing. This is the same thing, right? So it depends on your model. So, for example, if you're driving a bus, you're going to have to be quite patient, right? If you're an F1 driver, you're going to have to be quite quick-witted. You're going to have a fast mind, which is the opposite of patience, right? So there are 5 that I'd say that are absolutely essential, right? I added one recently. So these are, right, I'm going to make a box here. I believe this is big enough. Focus, right? This is the most important in my opinion because this is how you create your output, right? So if you have 10 units of focus out of 100 and 10 hours of time, 10 times 10, 100, right? But if you have 50 units of focus, 10 within 10 hours, you have 5 times the productivity. So it's very important. Or say now you half the time, 5 hours, 250, that's going to be the exact same as the first one. 100. Wait, yeah, 200. My math's off, but If you half it and double the other one, the amount of focus you have, then it's going to be the exact same amount of work, the exact same amount of output for half the time. So this is why it's so important. Second is discipline. So this is just setting a rule, right? People think, oh, it's doing something you don't want to do. That is sort of true, because in order to follow that rule, you do have to sometimes do something you don't want to do, right? That is what you're building with discipline. But what that actually is willpower. I've made a whole guide on this. If you want to see it, I might repost it later, right? So this is discipline, right? Third one is emotional control, right? So I'm just going to go for 4 because this goes into another word. So you can also call this resilient. Right, so this is how you react to something. When something happens that affects you emotionally, you need to be able to control that emotion. There's ways to do that, right? You don't just suppress it, whatever, right? You're able to deal with that emotion quickly, effectively, and you're able to do work regardless, right? You're resilient. And finally, right, there's the fourth one, that is malleability. So what malleability is, right, this is very important. This is how quick you can change your skills, beliefs, and characteristics based on the vehicle that you're driving. So in different seasons of your life or different goals you're trying to achieve, you're going to have to change these quite often, right? And I know you probably don't know what I mean by beliefs yet fully, right? So I'll be explaining that on a completely separate slide because it is a big topic, right? So malleability is very important. These are all essential in my opinion, right? So let me just create a new one. I'm going to explain beliefs now. I don't know what I'm trying to save. So, there we go. Don't save. Right, so, beliefs. This is the most important one. Right. I do want to touch upon this, what we just talked about as well, right? If you have all three, right, in terms of your business model or your goal, if you have all three of these things, you've achieved the goal, no matter what, right? If you have every single belief you need, every single skill you need, and every single characteristic you need, you've just achieved the goal. Like, there's nothing else you really need past that, right? Because you understand how the business model works, you're able to go through with it, with your characteristics, and you believe you can. Right? So, beliefs. This is important because all of your actions are rooted in what you believe in. So, say now you believe let's say you believe that money is hard to get, right? Now that you believe that, your actions are going to reflect that. It's going to reflect that you believe that, okay, that money is hard to get. So now you go out, you're not even going to try to make a business because it's too hard, right? And even in subconscious ways where you don't even notice, you're just going to take less opportunities, right? But everything you do is a root of that. And what you want to do is manipulate what you do to be the right things, right? You want to do the right things so you can achieve the goal that you want to achieve, right? So how do we imagine this? A scale, right? You can imagine this as a scale. Now, I learned this from this guy called Charlie Morgan. You should check him out as well. He's a really good teacher, millionaire. This is what he used, right? So here we have two baskets on either side of the scale, right? And this scale represents a belief. So money is, let's say, easy to get. It'll be easier to explain. Money is easy to get, right? This represents belief. This represents disbelief. Right? Now, what we also need is something to put in these baskets, right? So, what belief is based on is always, your beliefs are always rooted in something that happens in your life, right? So, if, say now, some teacher, when you were really young, said, oh, you're bad at drawing, you're the really practical one, not the creative one, then you're going to develop with the belief that you're bad at drawing, and your drawing's not going to improve ever. Well, it may if you practice, but it won't improve a lot. Like, it won't improve to the point where you can be considered good, right? So these, right, it only affects you if these are experiences, and it only affects you if it has an emotional impact. So we have experiences. So I will drill that in later, right? So emotional. Now I'll explain this, right? So we have experiences, right? This will be represented by a rock. Right, so let's say, right, let's go through the hypothetical. Money is easy to get. Let's say you earn 20 quid, right? That's going to add a rock to your belief, right? So now you believe money is easy to get, right? Money is abundant. Now, what happens, right? This is a weak belief because there's only one, right? If you just had one negative disbelief or two disbelief, all of a sudden you wouldn't believe. So what happens now in this hypothetical? You start earning it every week, right? Adding more rocks, more rocks, more rocks. And now this is heavier, so it takes a lot more here to tip the scale this way, right? But now let's say, right, we have all of these, you fully believe. Now let's say you have, okay, let's say we go into poverty. This is where the emotional impact comes from. So now this is a very big rock. This one thing had a huge emotional impact, right? So this is much heavier, and now this has tipped the scale to disbelief. Just this one rock outweighed all of these rocks. So this is strong impact. And these are weak impact. Right? So now you have a problem, right? So say now you become an adult, right? And you hold this belief, but you really want to make money, right? You're in a stable, financially stable world now. Money is abundant, but you believe it isn't because you had just had that very, very strong, emotionally impactful experience. How do you shift the scale? So this is where we get into manipulating it, right? So let me think. How is the best way to explain this? Right, so just remove this. Something I want to explain, right? This is a concept you need to understand before I start explaining how to actually do it, right? Your body can't tell between internal experiences, so these are thoughts, internal or external, right? And I'll explain this. External, wrong, what is this? Right, this one. External. Right, so external is real events, and internal is what's in the mind. Your body can't tell, and there's studies that prove this, right? I can give two studies. There's one where they brought a piece of coal towards this man's back, And they told him, okay, when you feel the coal, tell us. He couldn't see the coal while this was happening. He was looking away. And last minute, they switched the coal with ice and then pressed it against his back. In his mind, it was still coal. And his body reacted as if it was still coal, right? It reacted as if, okay, I'm being burned. It started to blister, and he felt the real pain from coal, even though it was just a piece of ice, right? And there's the second study where, you may know this one, they had a panel next to them, and the hand was behind the panel. And then they had a fake rubber hand in front of the panel, right? So they had both of their hands on the desk, their real hand was hidden, and they had a fake hand. Over time, they would like stroke this hand, do things with it. That sounds weird, right? You get the point. And eventually, they would hit the hand, right? And they would feel real pain by being hit by the fake hand. Right? I'm not. You can search those studies up later, just to verify if you don't know, right? So we can't tell between internal or external experiences, right? Because right, when you have a thought, you're still feeling an emotion, right? So let's say, you think about like how great your life is. Now you just had an emotional impact, and now you think, oh, my life is great, right? And that doesn't work if you've had tons of negative experiences. You'd have to replay that in your mind. That's my point. So what we want to do, people believe affirmations don't work, right? And that's sort of right. I'll explain. Right, so this is what we're focusing on, affirmations, right? You can't look in the mirror and just say, I am strong, I am strong, I am strong, expecting Bloody Mary to appear. No, that won't change anything. But what you do, right, this is how it works. You connect it to a visual. So what happens, say now you have one belief over here, one weak belief, and let's remove this. So it's totally balanced, right? You neither believe or disbelieve, you're on the edge, right? But you're only thinking about the positive to making money is easy, right? You're only thinking about that 20 quid that you made, not the 20 quid you lost, right? What will happen as you keep thinking about this, you'll get that emotional impact over time, and that will stack, right? That's why positive mindsets are so powerful. So now you've just shifted it over to belief. Now, how do you implement this into your own life? Right? So, what you need to do, I'll explain this for characteristics and skills as well, right? So, first off, let's go through skills and characteristics. And let me create a new one of these. So, what you want to do is make a list. So, you have a business model, you have a goal in mind. Skills, right? And then you just write down all the skills you want, right? Like all the skills you need for that specific business model. I don't know why I can't spell. Characteristics. Sorry, that I is terrible. Right, characteristics. Right, you want to list these down, and then all you need to do is achieve them, right? When it comes to beliefs, what you want to do, you do a similar thing to start. So you want to list down all of your beliefs that you have to do with what you're trying to achieve. So I'd say, okay, write down all the negative beliefs that you have towards it. Like, say now you want to be good at getting girls. You'll say, I believe I can't attract girls. I believe I'm ugly. I believe I'm this, that, the other, right? Once you have a list of everything you can think of, write the inverse. So this is belief inverse, right? So you're writing the inverse here. Inverse. I know my diagrams aren't really explaining it that well. I'm just using it. Right? You understand that. So you've written the inverse, and now what you do is right, my mouse just stopped. Give me 2 seconds. My mouse just ran out of battery. I have my plug here ready just in case. All good. Right, here we go. So, where was I? Okay, so we have the beliefs, we've created the inverse, right? We've written the list. Now we need to connect those inverses. So you want to achieve all of these, right? You need to connect them to a visual, right? And then use affirmations connected to something that emotionally impacts you. So you have 2 things you can do, right, to get this. So you have previous experiences. Right, I'm almost done, by the way. Right, I know the call is going to end in a second. Someone wants to join the call. There we go. Right. There you go. And then you have visualizations. Now, if you have a previous experience, this is going to be more powerful because it's real, right? So what you want to do to achieve these inverse beliefs, the positive beliefs that you want to achieve your goal, you just repeat this in your mind or say it, or you can have voice notes that remind you of that image and just keep thinking and train your brain to have that image appear when that voice note plays. But if you don't have any experiences, you can just visualize it, right? If you visualize yourself being confident, you're going to be more confident when you actually get there, right? And this depends because you may be overthinking and that'll lead to you thinking, oh, I'm not going to be able to do it. You need to be able to control your mind to actually think, okay, I'm good. I am confident. I can do this. And then you will be able to do it. If you believe, oh, I'm anxious, I can't, then you're not going to be able to. Right? So that is pretty much it. Skills, beliefs, characteristics, and how to actually go about business itself. Right, so the meeting, I believe, is going to end soon. So would anyone like to ask any questions? When it ends, just go over to the Discord on the Garrison. But would anyone like to ask any questions?
Okay, before anyone asks any question, like Kieran said, in case this call just ends abruptly,
Yeah.
then we move to Discord. Okay.
Alright.
So we can actually do it right now, and we can all move to Discord right now, and then we can there if that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to Discord. Okay.
Let me get my camera up. Hopefully this loads. Alright. Right, waiting for... Right. I believe my camera's not going to load because I have OBS loaded right now. So we'll just have to deal with that, right? I'm just going to be a loading screen on the screen. Right. I'm going to start now. Question time. So, does any of you have any questions for me?
You say that focus is the most important characteristic for building a business, and what do you think is the best way to develop it? Because I don't think I quite have it yet.
Okay, I'm gonna pull something up real quick. This is a project I've been working on. Let me just share my screen. I'll have to open up Google Docs for this. I've been working on a massive guide on how to develop focus. Google Docs. So let's see. Full guide focus. Hopefully this is the right one. Right here. Okay, so there's a lot here, right? So this is my explanation that I said in the call. So down here, right. So what do we want to do to get focus, right? So we can think of this in the inverse way. The inverse of focus is distractions. If you're not focused, you're distracted, right? So your goal here is to remove distractions. And what is a distraction, right? That's anything that has stimuli on you that goes through your five senses. That's the official definition, I believe. Right? Stimuli is anything that goes through your five senses. So what you want to do is remove that stimuli. Right? If you're removing stimuli, then you're not going to be distracted, and if you're not distracted, you're focused, right? And there are
little things such as so basically eating is already something that could distract you, right?
Yes, there's a specific way to eat for focus, right? There's something else, right, where your brain works on glucose, or it can work on ketones, and I believe there's a third. But I know that ketones are a more effective source of energy for your brain, so they'll make you more focused. So this is the ideal meal plan, right? So the main goal here is removing carbs. That's the stimuli that you have. So what you do is you eat the carbs that you need. Your body still does need carbs. You eat them after you've finished your work. So you just eat meat, so you have all the ketones that your brain can use, so you're fully focused. And then once you're done with your work, then you have the 400 calories of carbs. Right? That's the ideal thing. And the eggs here, that fills all your other essentials. You may need some other things as well. If you're deficient in something, then you can either supplement or have something extra to cover that. Right, this is just a basic overview. Something else I want to explain as well. So, we have two types of stimuli, internal and external. You know, I keep saying internal and external, right? Internal is your thoughts. So how you solve that is meditation, right? There's a specific way to meditate. Right, so if you want to screenshot this real quick, you can. Right, so that's the way you meditate properly. And the other is external. As some you can't avoid. So external is everything in your real life. Like your parents come into your room. I heard something. Right. So like say now your parents come into your room. That's a distraction you can't really avoid. Right. But the goal here is to learn to be able to shift back from that distraction, back to being focused as fast as possible. That's why meditation is so powerful. And you can manipulate your environment. That's one of the most important as well. Manipulate your environment to remove as many distractions as possible. So how I have my computer right now, I'm just sharing my screen. If you look here, I have nothing on my desktop. Right? Like I have here recycling bin, that's all I really need. I'm gonna empty that. Right? That's all I have. All I have here is everything essential for this call because I'm focused on this call. Right? And if you go in here, I'm using 2 extensions. So the first one that I'm using is Momentum. This removes all the extra buttons that are made to distract you, right? So it makes Google Chrome into an undistracted place. Now there are still distractions, obviously. If you search in the search bar and do something, like write something, go onto a website, you can be distracted that way. So there is a specific mindset to go with it. What you want to be thinking is get in, finish, go, right? And the second one here, this keeps resetting for me for some reason, but usually I have all of these blocked because these are all distractions. Right, all the social medias, and recently I have been binge watching YouTube, so I've had to turn this on. Usually I would have all of these turned on, but even then I still became distracted, so I've just blocked myself from it completely, and that's helped a lot. Right, that completely changed my focus, just that one button. Right?
What is the name of the extension?
We have Momentum, which is this one, the Chrome one, and Undistracted, which blocks social medias. Right here. So you're gonna write that down or screenshot. Right, is there anything else you'd like to know?
So I have a question. Okay. So one thing that I was kind of late to the presentation, but one thing that I was thinking about while I was going through and listening to your presentation is like the main things you need to like check on to be in a business. What I was thinking about is like, what about morality? Because I was thinking about like sometimes you have to make choices whether to like push onto other people or something like that to like get a better deal or something like that, and sometimes you're like trying to balance. I feel like sometimes in business you have to balance like yourself and other people, like likelihood or livelihood basically. What do you think in terms of morality, like in a business, that you should maintain?
Right, so we're trying to achieve a specific goal. So obviously we're gonna have a specific moral compass. It's best to follow that moral compass. But in terms of achieving the goal solely, that would tie into reputation. So if you want to withhold this certain reputation, then you're going to have to be consistent in your morals, right? You don't want to break them. You want to be integral, right? That's a really important characteristic. And what happens then when you have a strong reputation, you haven't broken it, you're going to be able to build yourself up over time. Right? You're going to be able to build your audience and they're going to trust you. And when they trust you, they're more likely to buy. So, yeah, that's my answer. I don't have anything more than that. Right. Is there anything else?
I just wanted to ask because I joined the Discord call. I was there for the Google, I think, Space presentation. I was present, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. I just want to ask you: will we have access to the focus document? Or
You will soon, right? I haven't completed it. I want it to be fully developed. the document that I've done, it's only halfway done. I have a lot more to go through, right? A lot. So I've gone through the modulators, which are like the things that affect your whole body, like the core aspects. I'm gonna go through a lot of mediators, which are smaller things that you can use to increase focus, and also strategies to implement, like lifestyles that you can implement, so protocols. My favorite one is the 1 day month, 1 month day, right? That's something that's going to be included where you can complete a month's worth of work in 1 day. It's like a ritualistic thing.
Sounds
But
great, man. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, that will be posted when it's completed. Right. Anyone else?
Can I have a question?
Yes.
What would you say is like the main thing that you want us to take away from your presentation?
The main thing, right? So the overall message is everyone can start a business. No matter who you are, there's a way to go, right? And how you change who you are to be the right person is through changing your skills, characteristics, and beliefs. If you have all those, you can start the business, right? You have if you have all the skills, all the beliefs, all the characteristics, you're gonna be successful regardless. So that's the main thing, because it can be applied to everything in your life, not just business, which is what I love about it. I love having just one system you can use for everything in your life, right? So, like, if I want to get girls, if I want to exercise consistently, become consistent, even if I want to become focused, if I believe that I can be focused, that's going to help. I'm going to become more focused. So that's the main thing I want you to take away is you can always change yourself. Anyone can be successful. You just need to be willing to do these steps, right? I've made it very, very simple. Just beliefs, skills, characteristics, right? You know your way to go. Now all you need to do is follow it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Right, anyone else?
So,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
you can carry on.
Yeah, anyone else has any question?
Okay.
Do you think you should develop yourself and start a business right after, or start a business and at the same time develop yourself?
That's a good question, right? I'll say what I did. I developed myself until I found my purpose, right? So usually when people start, they won't have a purpose to start with. At that point, they want to just do general self-improvement, improve themselves in whichever way they can. But eventually, they're going to get a vision, some sort of goal they want to do. I believe at this point, you want to just scrap self-improvement in a way, and instead use that goal as the vehicle for your self-improvement, right? So you're trying to achieve that goal. And say now your goal is make £1 million, right? Or $1 million, depending on where you live. That's going to encapsulate a lot of aspects of self-improvement, right? You're going to have to become healthy, going to have to become focused, disciplined, right? As I said, the belief, skills, characteristics, right? That's a part of who you are, right? And you fine-tune those to your goal. And when you achieve those goals, right, you can switch them. And that's still improvement, right? Because now you are financially free. Let's say you're a millionaire, so you've improved. Now you can go even higher. So now you're changing them, changing who you are again to fine tune it to achieving the goal as fast as possible, and you keep going, right? And I'd say you make this goal massive. I say make £1 million. I say mine is achieving my dream life, which is a load of things, and I've separated that into like one main goal, one at a time. So right now it's become financially free, right? when you do this, right, you can then think, okay, what do I need to do to achieve that? Okay, I need to become healthy. Do that. Become healthy. Become focused. Become disciplined. Implement all these things. Right, is that all?
If no one has any question, I just want to add something onto this, and I love how I love like Kieran's perspective and approach to all of this. I love his presentation. Great presentation, man. Thank you.
I'm smiling. I don't know if you can see.
And yeah, the thing is that we all have to realize that what self-improvement essentially is changing who we are. And as Kieran in his presentation has shown, like your beliefs are like the biggest thing that make the biggest impact, right? And so what we are essentially doing is changing our beliefs, and those are the hardest to change, you know. And we've embarked on the hardest task ever, the hardest thing ever we can embark on this journey through life, and that is changing ourselves to the very core. And like it's not easy, you know. Like uh, how are you gonna change your belief that like you can't make money online, you know? Like if you believe you can't make money online, then how are you going to change that belief?
And that was explained earlier, right? With the affirmations. So if you want to do that, have the inverse of that belief, connect it to a visual, right? So that could be a past experience or just a visual that you create in your head. That has the same effect, right? It has the same effect on your emotions, and that will slowly shift your belief. And I want to add as well, right? Some take longer than others. I explained that there are bigger rocks, smaller rocks, and if you have a lot of rocks on one side of the scale, right, you're gonna need a lot on the other side. And this is used in therapy. Like one of my clients that I was talking to, I did a similar presentation to them, and they were a clinical psychologist doing their PhD, also doing a business on the side, right? Working with the NHS, so a therapy business. So they understand how this works to a much deeper level than I do, right? They completely agreed. And right. So if you just connect a visual, right? They mentioned like, oh yeah, this is true, this is true, this is true, this is true. So if you connect a visual, then you can change that belief over time. And they mentioned that can take up to 2 years. That's what I'm drilling in right now. It can take up to 2 years to change a really, really strong belief, like a traumatic belief. But it isn't 2 years for every single belief, otherwise you'd be screwed, right? Most of them they could take like a month at most. So that's how you're going to change your beliefs. That's how you change the most like important part of your life, like the start of achieving a goal.
Just visualize the inverse, right?
Yes. So make a list of all your beliefs, like negative beliefs to do with it, and then write the inverse to them. And then work.
Can you say an example?
An example? I'll use the same example I used earlier, right? Say now you want to get good at talking to girls. Say, oh, I'm not attractive enough to attract girls. I don't know how to talk to girls. I'm scared of girls. And then you just write the inverse to that. So that would be like, I'm attractive to girls. I don't need to be attractive. to girls to get their attention. Talking to girls is easy. Those are my examples. If you want any more, I can give you some.
Excuse me. How do you compare a belief to a truth? Because I think that having
Beliefs.
to devote yourself to a belief that necessarily is not actually true, it's gonna quite be harmful for you over time.
Yeah,
That's just my thought.
I see what you're saying, right? There is a level of humility, right? You need to know there's a problem to know how to solve it, right? But you're already at the stage where you know the problem and you're trying to solve it. So a belief is a perceived truth. That isn't the objective truth, right? You can never be 100% sure, in my opinion, of an objective truth, like a true truth. But you already know your goal, right? You know the problem, and now you're using beliefs to change the problem, right? So I think that's a positive thing. Peter.
Depends on the case. Depends on the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Peter, did you put your hand up?
Oh no, I was just saying, waving goodbye to the people who are leaving.
Ah. Right.
Yeah, but like, yeah, like I bet the quickest way to actually change your beliefs from, for example, I can't do this to I can, is actually through getting evidence, getting experiencing that win, the fact that you can do it. That's like the quickest way to actually start believing that you can do it. And still, it takes time, a lot of time, to actually like switch those beliefs, and it's hard. Like, like if it was easy, we would all be millionaires. But like, only thing stopping us from that, from being millionaires, from making a lot of money, is our beliefs. And it's just like such a deep topic and a deep thing in general that like it's interesting, and at the same time like it feels like I don't know, I will not be able to find a word for it, but like something special, like something we have like little control over, you know.
Yeah. So that is that is the most powerful part, right? But if you only, I was talking to this person in the Egypt Center today. We had a small debate. He said that beliefs aren't required. They are, right? They are essential, but if you don't build a skill as well, that belief is going to be weak regardless. You need that evidence, right? And that evidence is achieved by achieving the skill that you've written down. And as you achieve that skill, then you're getting that experience and you're strengthening that belief as well in the process. It links. So that's why I think beliefs are the most powerful, right? Is because that's what leads you, like it tips you over the edge then to starting to get real evidence. If you're not there yet, you can start to change your beliefs through visualizations, and eventually you will tip over the edge, right? And you will be able to then go out and get your real evidence, which is what is required. You need the skill as well, not just the beliefs, right? It's the most important, but without the characteristics and the skills to go with it, it's nothing.
Yeah, if someone doesn't understand the power of beliefs and how big of a deal they are, then just like every action you take, ask yourself, why did you take it? Why did you act in that way? What made you do the thing? What belief made you do the thing? Okay, and go deep. Go really deep. Like ask yourself these questions.
Well,
Yeah.
I've got a question.
Go ahead.
Sorry, if you can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so my name is Shivansh. You've already seen my face just because my father came. I just turned off my camera. So what I wanted to say that my belief system works like this, and it's fixed. I cannot. I'm struggling to change it. Like I know that if I do nothing, I'll receive nothing in my life. But I still struggle to take some actions. I still struggle to make those consistent habits every day. And my mind mine is like, okay, that's okay. That's you can do that. And but the thing is, I'm not even scared of these things. If I'm not scared of if I do nothing, I'll get nothing. The thing is, I don't have that drive to do the hard work every day. That's like most of you do, and 90% of the time I'm slacking off in my routine, my diet, my fixed things. So
Right,
that's the thing.
so
What is your opinion on that?
would you say you have a fixed mindset then, overall? Just you don't think you can grow. Shivansh.
Okay, so here's the thing. I was not clear about that. I just wanted to say it one more time. So the thing is, I have a routine, I have a purpose, I have goals. I
Yeah.
don't work for them. I don't
Okay.
know what the thing is that breaking my focus from it.
I
I'm using
have
my phone for 5 hours right now.
right,
And
yeah. So I have quite a few things to speak about that,
okay,
right? So
okay.
first of all, you need to care. That's the most important thing, right? Do you have something in your life that, like, do you really care about it? What you're trying to achieve?
Yeah, I have a purpose to get financially free and to be more educated in my life. But I don't do those actions. And I mean, this question or this belief system is a one brain cell system. I know that,
Yeah.
but the thing is, I'm still struggling to do that. And I think that talking to you is the only chance right here, so I can get some tips about that. If I
Right.
what I know, if I start working right now, if I start working just right now, I'll achieve that tomorrow. But the thing is, I don't start. I don't. I stopped caring. It's been almost like 6 months. I'm in like this continuous rut. I
A
try to
rut.
do these courses and things. Okay,
Okay.
I'll come. Just 30 seconds.
I right. I have a lot to talk about that, right? Right. Are you still there?
You
Okay.
said you'll
You're
be
still
back
there.
in 30 seconds.
I'm not. Okay, okay. I'm back. Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah, no,
I'm
I
not
to
still
be
there. For these few weeks and few months, I've been working better than that rut, but now I'm just better. But I still don't know what to work on. I can't just get this goal and start to work on that. I'll just fucking waste my time on watching videos. Okay, this is how to do. This is how to do, and I'll just watch courses. I just don't take action. How can I set my belief system like that it forces me to take action?
right. I believe that's less to do with your beliefs and more to do with just your willpower, right? So you have this part in the brain that controls your ability to take action or resist action if that takes energy, right? This is the mid-cingulate cortex, which is the prefrontal cortex of your brain. And there's ways to strengthen this. So here's something I want to explain, right? Our brain works in a closed loop system. I've repeated this a lot on the Garrison, right? So it starts with inputs. So this is everything you take into your brain. So this will be food, exercise, water, or just your experiences, right? Everything that you're inputting into your body, right? And then there's process, so that's how your body uses it, right? And then there's output. That is the behavior, right? So I'd say focus less on the behavior and more on the input, right? And obviously, the input itself is a behavior, right? You need to do that behavior of eating the food in order to get that input of the food. That's feedback, which is the fourth part. So the more you go around this loop, the more likely you are to repeat, right? Now, I assume, yes, you've tried it, right? You've tried eating healthy, didn't work, and oh, well, now you're in a rut, you feel awful. Now we talk about dopamine, right? Have you found yourself like scrolling a lot? Like looking at, like, you can't focus, right? You're getting distracted all the time.
Yeah.
Are you getting a lot of dopamine hits?
I don't actually can't answer this. Well, the thing is, at this time, I've deleted my social media almost 2 years ago.
Yes.
I don't scroll. Actually, I just keep focusing on one thing to another and another and another. I lost my focus.
Excuse me.
And I don't know how much time I just lost my focus. What I've concluded in my life is whenever I meditate, I just go for 10 minutes, and in those 10 minutes, I can just focus only on 26 seconds. That's the score. I think you can take this as an example.
Oh, you've made a lot of progress, which I'm proud of. Dopamine is your motivation, and you lack motivation. Right? So I think the best thing for you to do, if you're not, you need to figure out where you're getting that dopamine from, right?
Okay.
Because you're missing that motivation, or, like, yeah, they say, okay, you want to be disciplined, but motivation is also very important, right? But this, right, I have another guide.
Okay.
Let me just quickly pull this up. This
Okay,
is
guys, if you want, or if anyone has any questions regarding the presentation, if not, then can I suggest, or Kieran, do you want this to be recorded as well, to use it like for other people?
yeah, I've been recording the whole thing from start to finish.
Yes, I know. So you want to record even like you giving advice?
Yeah, yeah. I want that to be a part of it. Right. Okay, shall we make this the last question? I'll go over him, like his question, and then I'll end it there. Does that sound good to you? Right, so I don't know if you can still see my screen, right? So I have the willpower and discipline guide, right? There are 3 main tools to improving your willpower. So this is your strength of will. So will is what you want to do. Power is the strength of that will, right? So the first thing is you need to do things that have resistance, right? That's the difficult thing about this.
Okay.
Like, you have some sort of resistance in your brain. You need to embrace that, not hide from it. Like, there's a certain discomfort with it, right? And I'm assuming you're accidentally avoiding this discomfort. If you embrace it, right, through resistance, that's the first tool. you're going to grow your anterior mid cingulate cortex, right? Get good sleep as well, because that's how you're going to develop and grow it, right?
Okay.
And over time, you'll be able to do more, like a lot more than you could before. And it's not fun, right? I've gone through a lot of struggle, right? But that's what makes you stronger, right?
Yeah. Okay. I understood the thing. This is a nice guide. This is nice help for me, I think. Cause the thing is, the ironical thing is, I'm on this path, but I don't know how to walk, and I just keep staring at this path. When the day comes where I'll just walk and finish the path, that's the only thing. So you've very well explained it, and I think I can just start taking action. That's the only thing
Yeah.
I've just
So yeah, I've explained the processes to you now. Do you understand your
Okay.
step, like what you need to do?
Yeah, I understand.
Right.
Can
Awesome.
I interject a little bit on helping out, Sean?
If you want,
Okay.
yes.
So I think that another thing as well is like what I've been hearing from you at least is like you keep saying like you haven't put it into action or haven't been doing anything, but you also told us that you did like erase social media from like 2 years ago, and you like stopped scrolling. So that is progress in itself. But I think like you're probably in a rut where like you're not giving yourself the credit for what you did do, but you set goals for yourself and you're disappointed that you didn't reach that, but you still did something to get towards there. You know, that's something that I was talking to my counselor before. Like I was saying, like, hey, I'm not doing anything. Like I was doing something for a little bit, but now I stopped. So it's like, what the heck am I doing? But they told me to just kind of appreciate the progress that you have done, and then once you get back to trying, then see that you're still making progress. Because like deleting your social media and the fact that you haven't been scrolling or anything, that's good. And anything else that you do is also good, like progress you have to take. So don't mentally think that you're not doing anything. You're still doing things. You're still putting in some effort. It might not be what you think it is, but it's still something. So don't think that you're just sitting there standing still. You're not standing still. You're taking slow steps, and that's where it starts. So,
I love that.
that's what I think.
So yeah. That's a good point. Thank you for doing that. So thank you for saying that. Sorry for my bad English. I'm from India. So the thing is, uh, I am currently full of information and like I can make a full guide right now. But the thing is, I haven't checked that guide. I haven't implemented it myself. So I'm not just that confident that if I take this action to make this guide, will it even work to others, or I'm just giving some free kind of information just to get my mind be like, okay, you checked your box, that's it. But I don't want that. So the thing is, I'm just implementing small things right now. Here's my little story, if you want to hear. In
Yeah.
2022, I started self improvement. I don't know how I did, but at that year, I made like 80, I can say 100% of the progress because I was like literally dumb as fuck. I didn't even knew what I have in my home. Like the day I turned off my phone, I just roamed my whole home. I was like, okay, this is developed. I have a new plant. I have a utensil. This is the particular thing where we store utensils. I was so into internet. After that, 2023, I slacked off just because of my big ego. I can say that I just watched pretty much every web series available on the internet just because I was proud of what work I did. I just made drastic progress that time, and I'm still trying to achieve that progress this year because it's been 3 months right now, and I'm just struggling to take that big action. I've made some progress right now. I've studied a lot. I've meditated a lot. I've done, but I was not consistent in it. Like just if you can say, I meditated today, but the next time I'll meditate is 2 days later or 3 days later. So that's the thing that's eating my brain up and saying, "Oh, you're not making that progress. You're not hitting that thing." But what I believe is, uh, I'm just taking small steps, just like you made me believe that, because I'm doing something. But still, I believe like I'm not doing that 100% of the progress thing that I did in 2022. It took me 8 to 9 months, but I'm expecting it right now because I just got back on track in December. I was like, okay, I've ruined my life one more time, and now I'm just here asking you for help. I've just watched a couple of courses, guides, YouTube videos, took notes, but I just didn't take action. I have a purpose. I have set it goals for months. I've achieved quite few of them, but the unchecked goals are just getting delayed to another month, and that this is the only thing that is eating me up. So that's the thing, guys.
I will say to that, it's not about how many times you fall down, it's about how many times you get back up. And eventually, you can just keep going that 100%. It takes time, though. But the fact that you're saying all that now, I mean, if you start doing something right after this, then you've gone back up. And that could be something, and you just keep doing that until you finally get to where you want to be.
Yeah, be resilient.
That's kind of what I have to say to that.
Right.
Okay, so thank you for that quite few advice. I'm not taking enough time of yours, I believe. But the thing is, I was scared of talking to humans only, quite just like 1 year ago. Now I've just like this year, I have approached 10 girls right now, and I've talked to them. Hey, let me turn off my camera. Well, I'm not scared of being social right now, and yeah, you can see my fat. You can see this. So the thing is, I've made a little progress, but I need to make more.
Yeah.
And that eats up my brain and makes me unproductive for 2 to 3 days. And then I get back up, okay, fine, I need to do this. But so I need to just get this gap down to 1 day, or I mean, I can say 1 hour, or maybe that's the thing.
I was the exact same, right? 1 year ago, I was the most pathetic being you could imagine. I couldn't go up in front of the class, and now I'm here teaching you guys. I want to give you an actionable step that you can take like right now, right? And that's gonna be your trigger to get back up. Go and take a cold shower. Feel the pain for however long you can. Doesn't matter if it's 5 seconds or 5 minutes. Just go in the cold shower, right? Say, okay, I'm gonna take this seriously. I'm gonna be healthy. I'm gonna focus on my inputs. And I'm going to feel all the discomfort. And every time you fall down again, may happen, get back up again. Like, go and have another cold shower, feel the pain, that'll get your dopamine rushing. Right? I just want you to do that now, and if you still need help, you can message me. Right? I can send you the guides, I can get on call with you if you really need.
For me, it's 12:15 a.m. right now, so I'll still take that cold shower. If you said that, I'll take that action. Just because I want my mind to kick those things like, okay, you can do this, you can do that. And if I get into this cycle of being productive all the day, I'll just make more progress, and I know that. Because at that time, I've made some progress, and I've wrote my mistakes on a diary that's full right now. And I would just want to say thank you to you all. I'm just really grateful to be in this meeting right now.
No problem. Right. I'm gonna end it here. Right? It's gone on for quite a while. How long has it gone on for? 1.5 hours. All right. So I want to say, right, that was brilliant presentation. Obviously, I'm here to learn as well. I'm learning to speak to people, right? If you want, you can message me and critique me. If you need any help as well, or you want to understand something that I've said in the call, if you're watching back and can't really understand something I said, you can just message me and I will explain it to you. This was a great call to be a part of, right? I'm really grateful for the opportunity that Peter gave me, right? And, well, I just hope that you all found a lot of value in it. So, Peter, is there anything else you want to say before we fully end?
Yes. Okay, Kieran, thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation, for giving us your time. I also want to thank everyone else who attended, and hopefully this was helpful to you. And also, anyone who would love to have a presentation like this, then just send me a DM, okay? Anyone who wants to have a presentation like Kieran did, then send me a DM and we'll make it happen. Okay, Shivansh, you too. Okay, you can you can have a presentation, no problem. If things will work out in the future. And anyone else, you too. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Peter, and that's all. Next time I'll make a presentation and I'll message you right at that time. So thank you for now.